Playas, how you doing? And welcome back to the Retro Gaming News for July 2023. Thanks so much for tuning in to your monthly retro gaming news here on Playas Guide. There is other content in the pipeline and that you can find on this channel as well. But without further ado, let's get right into the news. And we're going to start off with a couple of brand new Game Boy Color Homebrews. Now, I have Crown on the Game Boy. This is by Activist Games. This is on Kickstarter currently at the time I'm recording this, but it could be just finishing up at the same time. So this is a really neat looking game that is available on a green cart if you pre-order it through Kickstarter. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming it will be available for those who did not back it, but I can't say for sure. So get out there, check this game out. The next Game Boy Color game is called Far After. So I can't tell you too much about this game because I've only seen the trailer that I'm showing here, but what you can see is that it has a really neat looking art style. It doesn't seem to use the full Game Boy Color palette. It sort of looks like it could fit in on the original Game Boy a little bit, and it appears to be an action adventure platforming type RPG thing. I'm not really sure, but it seems very story driven. There seems like there's a lot of plot going on here. Gravity Circuit came out just this past July 13th. It's a retro style action platformer available on all of your major consoles. I know it's on PlayStation and Switch for sure, which are the two that I play. And it has some killer tunes on this. It's also very colorful, and it looks along the lines of something that I would certainly like to play and will probably be playing and doing a short mini review of in the future. Double Dragon Rise of the Dragons came out on July 27th. So if you're into the Tecmo games, here's a new one, but it doesn't quite look the same as many of the other Tecmo games and the Double Dragon series as we know it. It has a little bit of a different look, but we've seen the Double Dragon series go through some different changes before. I'm thinking of like Double Dragon Neon or Neo or whatever it was. That one looked quite different. So even though this has a retro style, it may not necessarily be the retro style you're familiar with your Double Dragon games. It certainly doesn't represent the original three, but it does still look cool. It does still have like that retro style of beat 'em up. So this is probably going to be a very fun game, even though it does look a little bit different. Feeble Light came out on July 27th. Now this is a multicolor changing shoot 'em up. Now the colors are sort of binary, so they're not all gonna be bright and colorful or a lot of different colors, but the color palette changes as you play this game. Now I don't know if that just changes on its own throughout the game or if it is in reaction to things happening on the screen, but this one looks to me a little bit like Solar Wars, if you've ever heard of that game on the Game Boy. Obviously it looks, maybe a little bit more updated and better and faster pace, but very similar to me. So this is one, I'm going to keep an eye out for too. So, Xenocrisis, a game that many of you have probably already played or are familiar with, and earlier this year got an N64 release. Well, it just got a release on the Super Nintendo. They announced that this game is coming out to the Super Nintendo, so you can play it on there. I mean, it's almost on every console, it seems like, at this point. RetroTink 4K. I got a tweet here that I saw was retweeted by Video Game Sage. You can take a look right here at it, read it for yourself, and it says that the RetroTink 4K is coming out very soon, before the end of the year, probably this fall. So 4K retro games, that's pretty cool. I know a lot of people are going to be excited for that, and there'll probably be a lot of coverage on other YouTube channels about that as well. I've also heard that it's not something that you're going to have to assemble yourself, which is pretty great. All right, that is your retro gaming news for July. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more retro gaming news and retro gaming videos. Until next time, I will catch you on the flip side.